Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. Today we're going to continue our series breakdown on NBA draft prospects. This week talking about the small forward out of France. His name is Zaccharie Risacher. Risacher, I think. Zaccharie Risacher. 6'9", 6'10", small forward, shooting 44-ish% from three. Colton, you like the sounds of that, don't you?
I mean, a wing with size that can shoot, a young, athletic wing that with size that can shoot. Do I need to say much more about what
Nicholas
he's really
Batum
capable?
ceiling here.
No, more than that. I'm thinking he could have Michael Porter Jr. base game with potential to add more to that as like a base package. Okay. So that is a good player in today's NBA. And if he plays better defense than Michael Porter Jr., which I'm sure he can after Michael Porter Jr. had multiple back surgeries, you're looking at a player that fits seamlessly into the Blazers' current and future lineups. Seamlessly. He is the perfect fit as far as the top of the draft board goes. I think if the Blazers sit at number two or down and he's on the board, you got to take him. Doesn't matter. I think he's the
So
perfect fit.
if you're number one, you taking Sar over him?
And even then, yeah, even then I almost consider him just because he's that what you need in this modern NBA, the shooting, but also the size.
It
And the
sort of
Blazers,
feels like he fits the current Blazers roster, maybe even better than Sar would,
oh, I
because
agree.
maybe.
And they're not that far apart in terms of SAR's so far and away number one that it's a consideration factor. Like, what do you go for here, if you're lucky enough to be in the top spot? But
The
I think
shooting is definitely very appealing. The Blazers desperately need that.
the shooting is appealing, and he's shooting basically 50% from the floor as well. So even though he's shooting a very hyper efficient from three, he's scoring everywhere pretty efficiently. And he's young. He's 19. I mean, what more could you want? I've seen, there's been some flashes of him putting the ball on the floor in the tape I've watched. I know it's something he can work on, but I mean, and the other thing we were talking about a little bit before we got on here is, scoring in EuroLeague like this doesn't always look explosive like it does in the NBA, where you're not going to have a prospect over there scoring 30 points per game usually. So, you can't look at his raw scoring and think, well, what is he? I think it's a great fit. I think the Blazers should be ecstatic if they have a chance to draft him. And in this draft, he's one of the few perfect fits that could just make us super excited.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. I think the fact that he's shooting 50% from the field and 40 some percent from three, we don't have anyone like that over like what 6'4", I don't know if we have anyone like that period this year. I think we have some guys who hopefully can hit that stride moving forward, but in terms of a bigger guy, a taller guy who can do that, someone who might also be able to play some defense, some long-armed defense against, really talented wing players like there's many of in the league, and maybe crash the boards for some rebounds. He so far hasn't shown himself to be like an elite rebounder, but he's extremely young and he has increased his rebounding numbers year over year. He's about doubled his minutes this year from what he was playing last year. This is all EuroLeague stuff, so it's hard to compare. It's sort of apples and oranges, but still, he's about doubled his minutes and he's more than tripled his rebounds. He's more than tripled his points, more than four times his points. So he's definitely growing and getting better. And yeah, if we could get a 19-year-old guy, which is about what it'll be at the time of the draft, with those kinds of abilities to shoot the ball, put the ball in the hoop, and also maybe keep growing as a rebounder and a defender. I mean, I'm not upset about the Nicholas Batum comparison, to be honest. That guy's been a, guy getting a lot of minutes in this league for like 15 years. And if he's like that, but maybe a better scorer, because that was always Nick's issue, is that he was just kind of an inconsistent scorer. And that could be exactly what the Blazers need to grow moving forward.
Not gonna lie, I was sitting here watching highlights of Mr. Risacher while you guys were speaking. The first guy that popped into my mind while watching him, this is a random. Obviously, it's only the offensive highlights because that's all highlights are right now. Peja Stojakovic came to mind. He's got that shooting form that looks really pure. He kind of has the ability to drive in and make interesting adjustments with his weight and like hit different bank shot type moves, but also has the size to not necessarily be like dominant on the glass, but crash in and get some here or there. Peja was an animal, so that would be a fun type player to have on this Blazers team. They just like I said earlier, I think that might be even a better fit than getting a true big man prospect. Just because I mean Aiton's already there to plug and play. I don't know if he's the guy we want for the future necessarily, but he's certainly a lot better option than anything the Blazers have at the wing position right now. So I think Risacher could slip in and maybe provide a huge boost to take some of the pressure off of those guards having to do everything, get some more size in the lineup, get some more, hopefully, like you said, long arm defense. And then probably most importantly, that shooting to stretch the floor, let Scoot do his thing inside with the drive and kick game. Obviously, his assist numbers will go up when he's passing the guys that make shots. So, yeah, fun prospect for the Blazers to take a look at if they end up in the position to draft him.
I
The one
mean,
thing
you look at go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the one thing I would mention with him, it's kind of interesting because he's really been slowly creeping his way up that draft board. When we first started talking about him a few weeks ago, I was seeing him at like 4 or 5. Now he's like pretty comfortably sitting at number 2. It's getting harder for us to get him. I thought there was a real chance a few weeks ago that he'd be there for us. At this point, we might be relying on the ping pong balls a little bit, but I still think that he really is what we need to plug in. So if we're thinking about ideal options, I think he's right at the top of the list.
Colton, do you remember what the Blazers like odds were to get the number 1 pick this last year? Because they ended up with number 3. They jumped up a few, didn't they?
They were sitting at the 5th spot, which is where they are again. And the 5th spot is funny because you only have like a tiny, minuscule chance to stay in the 5th spot when you're there. You're either going to move back or move up. I think it was like almost 40 or 40% chance to move up. So it's not at all without outside of the realm of possibility.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Blazers famously were only one ping pong number away from Victor Wembanyama. Just letting everyone know. I
Reminding
think,
everybody.
yeah, just a reminder. I think that I just want to say this. Usually in the top of the draft, you have those questions of one, does this guy fit? And two, is this, well, I place it the other way. Is this guy a better player? Does he fit? With Risacher, not only might he be the best player in the draft, he might be the best fit in the draft. It would be such a no-brainer right there. So, I mean, you go down the line of guys he would help just with his shooting ability, but also, crashing the boards. Rebounding is one of the things that translates well from any like conference or division in college ball as well as Euro ball because people who rebound know where the ball is going to go, right? And that's a skill that they possess. So I can't stress it enough that it'd be a good fit. And I think that every Blazer fan should be excited if we hear his name called.
Let us know down in the comments below if you think Risacher be a great fit on the Blazers. Maybe give us your thoughts on player comp. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.